Hello and welcome. I am the Sterling and today we are playing Going Medieval. In the last episode we built this Goliath, the Great Wall of Stirling. Stirling's Wall, the West Bank Barrier, or whatever we end up calling it. At this point, just flirting with a few ideas. In today's episode we're going to take inspiration from the Romans and build an aqueduct. Yes, you heard correct, an aqueduct. Now I'm not talking about the aqueduct, that floating bus thing in Queensland. I'm talking about an aqueduct. You hear the difference? So the way this is going to work is the water's going to run down this channel here that we prepared earlier. The water will then travel into the aqueduct. That will start here. The aqueduct will then travel down here, cut across, and end up in the wall over here. First, before we can do anything with the aqueduct, I do need to mine all this away because I don't want to waste the resources. Even though, as I've mentioned before, we got plenty of iron, I still don't like wasting resources. Now, as you've probably guessed, the water, after it runs into this tower, will hopefully travel all the way across here, overflowing and making a waterfall off the wall. Now, that's the plan. Will it work? Not 100% sure on that. Now, if it doesn't, I've got backup plans. It's to my understanding that the water fills up the last destination first. So what do I mean by that? Is as long as this river is as full as it possibly can be, then this part of the moat will be as full as it can possibly be. And if this moat is as full as it can possibly be, I'm guessing then this will completely fill up before it overflows. Don't hold me to that. Honestly, I actually haven't tested this, so I'm in the same boat as you at this point. But that's my theory. Now, if that doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'll dig a trench in the wall. That way, the water will flow into the tower. It will bottom out into the trench in the tower and then run all the way to the end, start overflowing, and hopefully overflow evenly. Now, if that doesn't work, then I've got a third option. But I highly doubt that I'm going to need to go that far. So I guess I know where I'm starting this episode. It's over here at the mine, digging all this out, getting it ready for the aqueduct. So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. There we go. That will keep them out of trouble for about 2 minutes. Once they dig that section, I'll get them to dig the next, and then we can start the aqueduct. Wow, did they get stuck into that? That's the first layer they've dug. After we're finished mining all this area out, our TITS is going to be exposed. So we'll then have to do something about that, whether we make it into a tunnel or it comes to an end shorter, which I don't want it to come to an end shorter because the whole concept is to get everybody as far to the map as possible. So it'd defeat the point if it ended up over here. But we'll work out that bridge when we come to it. I noticed there was plenty of limestone in there. I have an idea for a project that I want to do over here. But it's going to take a lot of limestone. A lot. It's going to be one of the bigger single projects that I've done needing limestone. Maybe not quite as big as the keep, but it's still going to be big. But that's for another day. Today, it's the aqueduct. Oh, here we go. We're being raided. This ain't good. Everybody's out. That's an odd place for them to spawn. But on the bright side, couldn't have been a better place for us. Now we have time to get everybody inside. Here they come. Now, majority are archers. Luckily, there's no trebuchets, so there's no real issue. These crossbows make light work of the heavy armor. And there we go. Wasn't even a challenge. After that raid, mining has actually slowed down quite a lot now. Because as you can see, everybody's now breaking down all the weapons and resources and etc. that we collected. So now it's just gotten slow. It was going really quick before. I was really enjoying it. That's all right. In a couple of days' time, they will have finished all their jobs, everybody will be idle and back digging. Once again, I'm doing the shack down at a mine. This mining project is actually becoming bigger than Ben-Hur at this point. This is huge. It's ridiculous. Every time I dig a little bit, I find a bit more, and I want to clear this entire area. So I've got to do this. It's taken them far too long to go from the mine all the way back to the castle. They're coming here, they're doing 2 hits and nicking off. They're not doing enough. It's taking far too long. So I guess they're living down here for the moment. As you can see, we've carved out a big chunk of this area. And I'm just having a bit of a play with how we're going to be doing the TITS staircase. Don't know if this is how it's going to be finished, but I think I'm onto something. I was going to carve out this entire area, but my frame rate is forcing my hand. Unfortunately, once you sort of hit this amount of resources just sitting around, plus everything else, and then it snows, you can imagine, even with a system like mine, it starts to struggle, which doesn't make for good YouTube, unfortunately. So once they've finished digging out what's marked in front of you, I'm going to have to pump the brakes. And then from now on, if I need, say, limestone, I can be a bit more surgical, go in and precisely dig what I need. Truth be told, I think I was only doing this for shits and giggles. Have a look at it. There's a little bit of gold in there, a little bit of clay and limestone, but majority of that is just iron. What on earth am I ever going to do with that much iron? If anybody has any ideas, please leave them in the comments, because honestly, I can't even sell it. The merchants don't carry enough to make it worth my while. And look, it's actually worse than you think. The settlers have actually been turning them into ingots, but there's nowhere for the ingots to go, so they're just dumping them everywhere. It's getting silly. I'm just breaking my game for no reason. So, no more. Good news is, now that we're coming to an end here on the mining side of things, I can finally do what I set out to do this episode, and that is the aqueduct. I've procrastinated on it this whole episode so far, just digging, building huts, and that hut took bloody forever. Don't ask me why, they just refused to do it. I think we're a little too far out, because even mining, they were hesitant on mining down here until I built that hut. I think we were just slightly out from the castle that it was a bit of a pain for them. Now, while we wait for them to finish digging this area, we may as well begin planning out the aqueduct. As you can see, I've capped the TITS stairway down. I played with a few different ideas. I used slate roof at one point. I used slanted dirt another. Honestly, as terrible as that looks, stairs actually ended up looking the best. Not to say that that's the way I'm going to leave it. I might end up covering it in dirt or something, I don't know. But for the moment, that's how we're going to do it. As you see, we've already marked the locations of where the pillars are going to go for the aqueduct, all the way here to the castle. Now we're going to use limestone block as the pillars, and then we'll step them up as so, and then we'll make them circle. And that's how we're going to do it. And so we'll have one either side, like so. And then, once again, circle, circle, and circle. And then I'll grab my limestone block archways and go bang, bang, And that's how we're going to do it, just like so. Now leave me with it and I'll do the rest. And there we go. That's the pillars and the archways done. The little archways in between the pillars, they're not going to do much. They're purely cosmetic. Now we'll run limestone block floors on top. And there we go. So we'll let them build what we've already planned out. And once that's done, we can continue with the next phase. There we go. It's slowly coming along. You can see what I'm going for. But wow, that's going to take a long time to do. As you can see, they're doing 3 at a time in either direction. But once this little section here is done, they're going to be doing 3 at a time. It's going to take forever. Might consider putting ladders up, and so they can climb up and do either side. That might be the way I'll do it. So moving on. Next, we need to enclose the aqueduct. We need to put walls and the ceiling on. So let's do that now. We're going to make them out of limestone block, like everything else I do, except for we're going to use clay ceiling. Something different, I guess. And this way. Now, am I going to have a ladder go up? I think I will. Only because this is going to take forever otherwise. So we'll leave a little gap on every single one, just so then we can get a ladder up there. I'm going to have to delete so many ladders when we're done, because I still want to build some ladders up to put flags on. Well, this kind of works out good then, because I was going to build ladders there anyway, weren't I? Done. Now it's time for the roof. Now it's going to be interesting when we get to this corner. So I'm going to have a bit of a play with that and work out exactly how I'm going to do the corners. Now, let's put the ladders in. We will have to cut some trees because it looks as though we're out of timber, which surprises me because we had a lot, but I must have used it somewhere. I have used a little bit of timber on this project for like the ladders and such, but I don't honestly see where there was a big chunk of timber being used. Well, I say that and then I come straight up to this eyesore. So I said I saw, not what you think I said. Okay, how are we going to do this corner? I assume we can corner it. Give me a moment of fluffing about and I'll see what I can do. Right. For the life of me, I cannot work out how to do a corner here. I have just fluffed around for ages. So, I've come to a compromise. There are 3 different options we can do. Option A is we have it that it comes to an end on either side and then there's a little square roof in the middle so it looks even. Option B, it continues straight in one direction and slants off at the end and then it comes down the other way and then dips in, as you can see. Then there's option C. Option C is some sort of little towery-like thing made out of clay bricks, as you can see here, just to sort of break it up a bit. Now, I don't know which way I want to go, so for the moment, since we've already built the tower, we'll leave it as a tower. But after it's built, if I look at it and go, yeah, no, that looks horrible, well then, we'll get rid of it. Or if the water overflows out of the little window thingies I've put up there, we'll get rid of it. Or if, for whatever other reason, I don't want it, we'll get rid of it. Now let's hit play and let them build it. Have a look at that. That there is our aqueduct. I really like that. As you see, I've already destroyed the dam down to the channel. Here comes the water. And there we go. It's into the aqueduct. So there we go. We've hidden the roof so we can actually see the water coming through. Let's have a look. And no issues. Fantastic. This is the part I wasn't worried about. It's whether or not this will work is the question. Oh, who's in there? A dog. Well, guess what? We're going to have a dead dog. Because too late now. There is no coming back from that. Bugger. Okay. These things happen. Oh, wow. It's working. See? It's working quite well at the moment. And here I was worried that I'd have to make some modifications. And there we go. I like that. Something a bit different. Is the dog just asleep? Was the dog sleeping in the water? We're not going to ask these questions, are we? Clover died. And there we go. Castle Sterlington is looking quite grand now with our big flowing walls, our aqueducts. I'm very happy with the outcome. There is still so much more I want to do to Castle Sterlington. Unfortunately, that will have to wait for another episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.